Okay, so I'm going to do a tutorial on how to thread your eyebrows and your upper lip and underneath as well. This isn't an eyebrow shaping tutorial. It doesn't explain how and where you should place the arch and where you should thread. I'm not professional either. I haven't been trained, but I've been threading my tache now for years and years and years. That's the only method I would recommend for around here. Waxing just doesn't even touch the hairs down here. It's too tough. And I just find that by threading them it keeps the hairs lighter. Now my lips look a little bit sore just at the moment, just a bit red from where I've just gone over the lip line a little bit. That's natural and will settle down not too long from now. It's just freshly been threaded. Many ways to thread. Some people hold the thread in their mouth. I don't know that method. Some people kind of have the thing in their hand and loop it and work that way. I don't know how to do that, and I don't do that. I think you need to use a longer length as well. The method I teach you is really easy. It's kind of the scissor method, and so much easier to do, I think. Okay, so I'm going to use a thread that's specially made for threading. I'll put in a picture so you can see what it looks like. I'm going to take off about, if I show you that much, it's not going to make any sense to you. But if I say to you that's about the size of a 15cm ruler, and it's folded back on itself, I'm just going to take off about that much. So there we have that piece of thread. Then I'm just going to take the open ends and just roll it between my fingers and make a knot out of it and pull through. So that's now knotted. Then taking the other part of it, just kind of open that up in case it's got twisted. So you just want a little loop like that, like you were going to play, what's that game called? Can't remember. But anyway, taking your thread, you want to twist both sides equally in the opposite direction till you get this twist in the middle. And the way you thread is by lifting your middle finger up and down, and you'll see this bit here moves from side to side. So you need equal twists on either side. So I've come in really close so you can see I've got really fine hairs. I hate this angle, but I'm going to show you how to remove the hair. So using that motion that I showed you and looking into a camera, I'm going to try not to disappear. You want to stretch your lip like this. If necessary, put your tongue behind the area you're working on and really stretch it out. And you want to catch the hairs between this area here. So if I'm working on this side, then I'm going to use this part of the thread to catch the hairs, and I'm only going to be lifting this side to bring the hairs over. So I lift my fingers up to bring the twists over towards my right, and then lift up with my other hand to bring them back in the middle and close my fingers on this side. So I'm kind of doing this motion. I'll show you zoomed out a little bit later again. Catching my hairs underneath, I just pick up, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but some of the hair's falling off. There's just one there on my lip, and that's basically pulling out from the root. So I'm going to zoom out so you can see a bit better now. The most tender areas are here in the Cupid's bow and around the nostrils. I tend to leave them till last. Using a magnified mirror will also help you catch those little hairs. You want to start by making sure that you've got a cleansed face, Tone and moisturise. Leave the moisturiser to sit in for a while because this can make your skin very dry as well. Do not do this with any makeup on. Also, if you've got any spots, then be careful around that area. If you've got any really raised ones, you will end up picking them up, so be a bit careful. When working on the other side, you then want to be picking up the hairs on the opposite side. We're always going to work in the opposite direction of the hair growth. I always leave my nostrils till last because I do get hair in there, so I do need to do them, especially just around this bit here. But what will happen is as you pick any of the hairs out around here, your eyes will water slightly. So if that then water comes down the tear duct, then you will end up with a runny nose, which will give you a wet thread. Okay, so I work with a much shorter one. This is probably about 4 inches, just for around the eyes, because you don't want to really have it moving along too much. Now, threading doesn't always remove all of the hairs I have here. Mine are really, really tough. I don't know if you can see, but the hairs that are absolutely really, really tough. So I tend to just take off as much as I can, just clear up the area, stretch the skin. I lift my eyebrow and try to avoid it from dragging. Working in smaller sections just means that I won't get carried away and pull off too much that I don't want, but I absolutely have to do up here because I am super hairy, super hairy. This area is very sensitive. Be very careful. Sometimes if my husband's around, I'll get him just to hold this area so that I can get right in there and underneath here to get a nice clean line, but he's not here right now, so I can't ask him. I'm going to do my best. If I think it stretches, I'll just leave it. You can see how my skin lifted up there. That shouldn't happen. And I've got eczema around here, so you can see I've got really dry patch there. And even though you probably can't see here, I've got really tiny baby hairs, like little fluff that annoys me. And in makeup it kind of catches underneath and lifts those hairs up. And when it's sunny weather, you really see them. When the sun's shining down on your face, those little lights become really, those little hairs become really obvious. The threading done under here gives a really nice clean line, and I discovered that line first when I got married, just before I had my facial and threading and waxing done, and they created this brow shape for me. My brows before were thick. I never used to pluck anywhere up here or down here. I only used to pluck the middle, so they were a lot thicker. And then for my wedding I had them done, and oh my god, I fell in love with the shape. I just couldn't stop looking at them. And since then I've kind of maintained them, although this one's a bit funny because I always say my eyes, my whole face on this side is weird. It's not the same as the other side. Okay, so this time to get in under here, I'm going to bring these twists as far back as I can, lift my brow up to stretch, and then create that nice strong line. Clean. I do it quite quickly. You don't want to go too far past this line here though. You have to be very wary of that because you'll end up with a funny arch. I only want the line. I don't need to take any of the hairs underneath. You have to be very careful if you've got long lashes because you'll catch. That's as far as I'll go with my threading. I'll never take it in between here, it's just too awkward. So I'll just take my tweezers, mine are the Tweezermen, and I'll just pluck in between. And I'll also take out any loose hairs from under here and anything from under. I only like the line just at the base of the lash, the brow line I should say, and then just to give me a guideline and to really neaten and clean it off, and then I can catch all these little hairs. So I'm going to go ahead and pluck them now. And so now I just kind of do a little bit, and whatever's there is there, and that's it. I don't have the time to spend on my brows as much as I used to. And I actually like their natural shape. I like the fact that they're not equal, because it's just, that's how our faces are. That we are naturally imperfect, and I don't like the symmetrical look at all. Okay, so I've done my brows now. I've shaped them ever so slightly. Now this isn't a shaping tutorial. That is going to be another 10 minutes all by itself. But I've kind of just kept the shapes that they are already. I know that this one isn't perfect. I've kind of, as in my younger days, taken off too much here. And so I'm a little bare up here. And obviously when I fill in and brush them up, then they equally match much more, not equally, but you know, match much better. That's hard to say. I've also kept this little loose hair here that from experience, when I've taken it away, I just feel like the gap here is too much. So yeah, I haven't, you know, done anything to the shape other than just taken a bit off under here where this one was slightly thicker than this one. And yeah, my eyebrow on this side is slightly higher because I raise my eyebrows a lot when I talk, and you can see this one is high and this one is not so high, it doesn't follow. That's the way our muscles in our cheeks work. I use this side more than I do this side. So yeah, really hope this was useful to you, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye.